All right, guys, what's going on? AV Watchmen, and you're tuned in to United We Stand. Remember I told you that there was someone else who wanted to do an interview, someone else who had information. So basically, this person almost has the same identical information as the other neighbor at the apartment complex, but her information is a little bit different, and you will notice that difference. Unfortunately, the day I was supposed to interview her, someone called the phone and said one of the boys was inside of an ice chest and he only had minutes to live. We ended up taking off and going to the park where we were told to get to, and as you guys all know, there was no one out there in an ice chest. But we did find a few other things. So, yep. Here is that video now, guys. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Keep in mind, she does not want to be on film, and her son does not want to be on film. So this is just going to be her voice, and that's it. All right, let's get to it. Guys, so we're here with someone who actually has some information. I'm going to go ahead and just let her tell you what she knows and what she has, and we're not going to put her on video, so okay, go ahead.
The exact date was September 23rd. She has cameras at her door, on her window. So I had an incident where we thought someone broke into my vehicle and cut my wires, so I went in, knocked to her door, and I let her know, because she showed me the cameras. And she told me the cameras wouldn't reach that far. They were just facing towards her 3 vehicles that are there in the parking lot. So I explained to her what had happened, and when she had told me the same thing had happened to her, that they tried to steal one of the vehicles. She walked out, and when she walked out, the little boy, the smaller one, walked out right behind her. She didn't notice him, so we kept walking, and we walked towards the parkway. And then the other little boy came out, and then that's when she's like, órale, pa dentro, pa dentro, pa dentro. And then she's like, oh, son bien tremendos, se salen solos. And that's when she said that they were the kids of her daughter. So I didn't.
Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? The adopted mom?
Well, it would be the adopted grandmother, right?
The grandmother, okay.
The adopted grandmother.
Okay, so you were checking her cameras.
Yeah, I was asking if I can check her camera, or she could check it to see if she's seen anything. But
right.
So that's when I seen them, and that was September 23rd. And I know exact the same day because I went back through my messages to see who was it that I sent the videos to of when they broke into my vehicle.
Right.
So I know for sure that I did see them, and it was for sure September 23rd.
Okay. Okay. And what you were saying something else about that? You've seen them there recently, or?
I've seen them recently, and I've seen them numerous times, and they're with her at the same apartments.
Oh, okay. So the APs, they're staying at those apartments, and I remember you were saying something about that. Your son used to play with
my 2 oldest used to play with 2 of the boys they had. I know they don't have them anymore. And I know that because I heard it from the adopted grandmother. I had told her, the thing is that everyone there knows everyone. So she was outside of my door, gathered around with my neighbor, and I had told her, oh, you're the adopted parents of the little boys, the Mexican boys. And she's like, oh no, chamacos mendigos traviesos que fuman marihuana. And I was like, ¿qué? She's like, sí, mendigos. And I was like, pero tienen la edad de mis boys, que viene siendo 10, 11. She's like, sí, los vaguitos que siempre andaban aquí afuera se les salían a mi hija. And I'm like, ¿a poco they would smoke? She's like, yeah, that they were very bad, so they turned them back into...
The oldest boys.
Yes, they had turned them back in, and that they didn't want nothing to do with those kids anymore.
So those were foster kids?
Those were foster kids, and those foster kids, I talked to them directly because they used to come out of their house and they used to go knocking on my door. I don't let my boys come out at all.
Right.
Anyone that wants to come over, you could come over and play here. Or if you guys are going to be outside, I'm going to be right with you. So I remember telling them, like, oh, are you sure your dad and your mom knows you're here? Because the same, I know I wouldn't let my kids be anywhere else. So I said, you guys could come in, but are you guys sure your parents know? And he was like, oh no, that he didn't have his parents. So I was like, who do you guys live with? And that's whenever the boys had told me, they're here with their adopted parents. So when they ended up leaving, I asked my boys, like, why are they here? What's going on? So then I guess the little boys, they were brothers, Mexicans. They were around the age of 10 and 11. And they said that they were there because they got taken away from their parents. But that I guess his mom had robbed at a store, but apparently he said that it wasn't his mom's fault, that she didn't actually rob, so they took them away. And they were there with them for a while. I know they were there with them for more than a year because I always used to see those little boys. But it was when they used to sneak out. They would sneak out and then they would go and knock on my door to play with my boys. And when my boys, I would tell them, like, you guys can go out. They would go and they would knock on the door and the guy wouldn't open it for them and wouldn't let them come out. So they would always tell him, please don't knock on their door. He's very mean and we'll get in trouble. So they used to
talk about the APs.
Yes. You guys used to talk to them through their window, right? Yeah, they used to talk to them through the window and let them know, like, what time they were going to come out or when they were going to come out. But from what my understandings, they always said he was very mean. And when I would see him, because he lives on the other side, but he would go through the back.
Yeah, that's what someone else told us too.
Back, that's where I park. But it was never that I seen him with his wife. Never did I see him carry any kids. It was always him. He used to get in his big van and take off. Come back, get in the van and go. I never once seen him with any type of kids. Ever. Not even when school was still in session, before the coronavirus, any of that. No, he never had any.
So way before kids.
Before, don't let your kids out, none of that. Yeah, he had them already stuck in the home, and all this wasn't even happening. So this was way before all this. That's whenever my kids used to play with the boys.
Did he ever come looking for the kids when they...
He never once came looking for the kids. Like, they were there just for a little bit and take off. I used to always tell them, are you guys hungry? Do you guys want to eat? Oh, we gotta go. So they would take off. I think they ate there once.
They would sneak out when he was home, or?
I didn't ask him. I never asked him, like, when you guys would... Like, I never really spoke to them and let them know, like, oh, is he mean? What does he do? No, I never did that. I just knew they would go and play with my boys or play out in the front.
Well, you wouldn't think to ask that kind of thing.
I didn't never went down to that, like, oh, is he like this? No.
What's going on over there?
Yeah, I never would tell them that. Right. But I did know that they would, when they would sneak out, they would go in the back area and they used to always play with sticks, because that's when my boys would go out there and play with them with sticks as well. So they would sit out there and run around in there, and then they'll go back in.
How do you feel about him knowing that they're living there right now? How do you feel about them staying there?
It's annoying and it's frustrating knowing that I can't let my kids out. Like, my kids are like, oh, he's gonna come and do something to us. Like, I can't let them, even if I'm right there, like, I can't let them go take out trash barrel, because he took out trash. My husband was loading stuff in and out of the car, and he was right there. So I told my son, grab the trash, go throw it out. Dad's out there, your brothers are out there. As soon as my son went to go throw out trash, he was walking right by, going to the trash can, throwing out trash as well. So my son literally ran into him at the trash barrel.
So the apartments where he used to live, do you live behind that, or is it another unit?
I live in a different unit.
Oh, okay.
But it's right there. You could see. You could see everything.
Gotcha.
You haven't seen any kids recently over there?
I haven't seen no kids at all. And I used to see. The grandmother has adopted kids as well. Well, technically, they're not adopted anymore. She legally has custody of them.
Right.
She actually changed her name and all that because she invited me to that little party that she was having for them. And she invited me that she was having a little celebration, knowing that they were fully hers, and she was changing their name and everything.
The smaller ones.
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, it was a little girl and a little boy, which is the grandmother. That's who they were adopted. And she had another one.
Girl, that was in the picture, remember?
She had another.
No?
She had another adopted.
Does she have long hair, the girl?
Yeah. She had another daughter that was adopted as well. If I'm not mistaken, she is mixed with black. She's Hispanic and black, I believe.
Right.
And her as well. I never seen her out. I never seen her around anywhere. I would see her mostly throwing out the trash. And she's older. She's like 11 or 12. The other kids that she has, I would see them all the time out there. All the time, like with the grandmother.
And even before the whole COVID thing happened, you never seen like the kids playing at the playground or nothing, huh?
No, I never seen them walk by. Like in order to go to the playground, they have to walk by, or at least me see them walking through their side. I've never seen those kids, ever. The only time I ever did see them was, like I said, when I went knocking to her door to let her know. And it's not because she let them out. They came out. They opened the door and followed her out.
One of the other neighbors said that when they did run into them, which was real rare, that they would always keep their heads down and didn't talk to anybody. Did you ever?
They never talked to me either. Well, when I seen him, he never once said hello to me. He never once talked to me. The times that I would see him was when he was not running, but he would walk through the back, get in his vehicle, and come back and walk through the other way. I never seen him go this way. He always went through the back.
Yeah, that's what the neighbor told us too.
Yeah, same thing.
He wouldn't park in his spot. He would park on the back side.
And I know.
Yeah. How many kids do you remember seeing?
I think it was like three or four kids.
Did you ever see the boys that came missing?
We did, but it was usually, honestly, the interactions that they would have with people, it was always really quick. Like when we would be coming, they would either run out that way, or they would, like, if they were coming in, they would just come in hella fast and just go into their apartments. They wouldn't really talk too much, you know.
So they would go this way?
Yeah, they had their parking spot right here, but I don't know why they would park back there. The guy used to drive like a big, long white van, and
No, that wasn't his parking. I actually didn't know directly where he lived. I just knew he lived back there because the parking where he parked, he always parked in, it was vacant. It's the last 3 that are vacant, and I've had to have parked there too. And I know that I used to park there right next to him or on the other side, but he always parked there. And all 3 of those last ones are vacant, and that's where he always parked.
Wow.
Until all this happened, then I knew directly, like, oh, that's where he lived.
Mm-hmm. What type of feelings do you have knowing that there's that type of trouble so close to you? You know,
It's scary. Like, you never know if he can come out and do something else to some other kids. Like, there's always kids out there, always.
Yeah, well, you
So
gotta
it's just-
remember it could be anyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it could be anyone and everyone. You don't know what happens behind closed doors in someone else's apartment, you know. But it's just scary knowing that you do know that he's there.
Yeah. I know everything is pointing towards that they could have done something to them. I'm just trying to figure out how come they haven't been arrested yet.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, why haven't they been arrested? Why hasn't something been going on? Like, why are they still allowed to stay there? That I do know he's covered up every time he comes
They weren't
out,
even
he's
supposed to
covered
be here, as a matter of fact. They were supposed to have been in some type of witness protection, like FBI or something like that. Supposed to be having them somewhere because of all the threats.
Well, he's there, and he's been there since more than a week.
You haven't seen her?
I seen her the same day I seen him. I seen her. Go down. Go. I seen her.
You did?
I seen her get out of the vehicle, and I know it was her. She came out, and then he came out, and that's when I went out and I seen them both.
In the grandma's vehicle, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not their van. I have not seen their van there.
What kind of car does she drive?
I'm not good with cars. I just know it's like a 3-seater big vehicle.
SUV or van or like a
Is it like
suburban?
yours,
Like a suburban.
Suburban?
Type. She has 3
Yeah,
vehicles.
3-seater. Okay.
It's just, I don't know. This is all so crazy, and like I said, that he's there.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. So the next voice you're going to hear is her son. Of course, we had permission from his mom to get him on interview, and now you're about to listen to him now.
I think I waved at him a couple of times.
You mentioned something about your kids were playing with their kids with sticks. I wonder if that had some type of like mental connection between him.
Because
always
back
having
there, there's
stick
like a
and-
lot of branches and all that. So that's what you guys were
Were they
playing
like
with back
like
there
sword
with the
fight
sticks,
or?
huh?
They built a tree house. It was, they would break branches and then they climb up a tree, and they showed us, and trees just grew out. Now you can't climb it anymore.
Did the boys ever tell you anything? You don't mind me talking to you?
No.
Did the boys you play with, did they ever tell you anything other than he was being mean to them?
No, never. They don't really talk. They didn't really like to talk about it.
What was their like persona? Like, how did they seem? Like cool kids or?
No, they were just really silent kids. They didn't really like to talk.
Really quiet?
Well, they would talk to us, but I've never seen them talk to anybody else.
And would you ever see the smaller kids, the ones that came up missing? Like when you guys would go to the window to talk to them in the window or anything?
I've never seen those kids. I seen a little smaller kid, but he'd never come out.
He never come out?
No, only the 2 kids I talked to.
And that was like.
How does this make you feel knowing that this guy could have possibly hurt some kids staying there at your same apartments as you?
I felt bad for those kids, honestly.
But how do you feel?
How do you feel? Like, do
That
you
he's
feel
there?
afraid to be going outside to play now, or?
Yeah, I don't like to go outside anymore.
And they're always like, "Can you watch me? Can you watch me through the window? Are you coming out with me?"
Yeah, of
My
course.
kids are not like that. I'm like, dude, go outside. Like the barrel's right there. Go throw out the trash and. Can you watch me? Come on, let's go outside together.
Yeah, that's the fear of kids. I mean, they're so dependent on their parents, you
Yeah.
know, for everything, you know, since, you know, growing up, you know, so they feel that, hey, can you watch me? Can I go do this? You know, kids are.
Even in my balcony, like you go to my balcony, you could see it directly. You could see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said that at the house, they said they left the gate open. The kids took off running. So if you know, in a situation where it's getting dark and you see this big empty lot field with a bunch of shrubs or where you think a couple of small little kids are gonna run and go hide in something like that, you know, I think at that point that would
Even if it was that, I know that kids there come out, like little kids. Like it's easy to open our door because our door isn't a doorknob. It's like a hotel
Yeah.
type of thing. So I know that it's easy for that because I've witnessed it where other
That's
kids
at the
come
apartments.
out. Yes, where
Right.
other kids have came out. There was one where the little boy came out and my husband's like, "Hey, there's a little boy running outside." And I went out and I tried talking to the little boy and he didn't want to. He was like 2 years old and I was like, "Donde vives?" Because everyone's there Mexican. "Donde vives?" Or "Where do you live? Where do you live?" And then I kept trying to run after him and chase him. He ended up going to his apartment and he went in. But I knocked on the door and I'm like, "Hey, the little boy was outside." "Oh my goodness, we didn't even know he came out."
Wow.
So then another time I seen another little boy by the dumpster. I was throwing out the trash and there was a little boy screaming and crying and I was like, "¿Qué pasó? ¿Dónde vives? Are you okay?" And he didn't want to talk to me. And I just stood there and I'm like, "Dude, no one's out here. No one's out here." So I kept looking and I kept looking. And I heard someone in some music. I'm like, maybe it's from them. They don't know because I know when I get in a cleaning mode, like anything can happen, you know.
Yeah.
So I went and I knocked on the door and I'm like, "Señora, ¿es tu niño afuera?" She ran out like crazy. She's like, "Oh, el niño siempre me abre la puerta." And she ran out and she grabbed him. He was crying.
Oh
And
my
she
God.
carried him and she was holding him. And so I know that could happen anywhere, you know, because kids tend to open the
Wander
door
off,
and
yeah.
wander off.
I got
But
you.
I mean, like, after a certain while, you're like, where are the kids at?
Right.
What's going on? You would think, like, it's too quiet. There's
Yeah,
2 little
it's not
kids.
normal.
I have
Yeah.
5, so I know what it is when it's too quiet. It's too quiet. They're up
Right.
to no good. And
Something's- yeah.
especially a 2 and a 3-year-old,
Right.
those are like the most
Troublesome.
troubled kids. Like,
Getting
they're
into
grabbing
everything.
something, they're pulling something, they're
Yeah.
eating something.
Right. Putting everything in their mouth and.
So
pulling
when
out
it's too
stuff.
quiet, I already know. So
All right, guys, let me know what you think down below. There's still a little bit more to this interview, not that much more. But do not forget, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Turn on the notification bell for all updates. That way you do not miss anything. All right, let's get back to it. We're talking about Trezel, right?
I don't know him by his name, but the one
Okay,
that's on the news.
the one
yes,
that's on the news.
him.
He has a monitor.
He has a monitor. So when my husband said that he had seen him that time with the boys, he said he has a big monitor on his stomach. I said, yeah, because he's flight risk. You swear that he wouldn't have. That's why he is where he is, and he's okay because they know
They
his
know
every
his,
move.
Yeah.
They're
They
monitoring
know.
him.
Yeah. He said that he had like a.
What is it,
big
like a belt, like something that goes around?
I really
his...
didn't ask him. He just said he has a big monitor like this on him, and he's all covered up. So he has that mask on the over the head one, and
Yeah.
it's covering him. He had his glasses on in his hat.
But you
And-
could tell like the body build,
Yeah,
right?
because he's like very, very skinny. He's
Yeah.
tall and he's skinny, so he must have seen it. He's always like with a long sweater, a long shirt, but it's like it's not a new
Tight one.
shirt. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've always seen him like in jean type of material or sweats.
Remember I told you that gold car pulled over and was saying something to somebody? That's kind of what that guy looked like that was walking towards us. He had like those extra long shirts.
No, he has those sport like
Is that what you're
those,
talking about? Like the
Yeah.
really long shirts?
Yeah,
like those sport ones that are tight, right?
like those, and then the ones like that you have those
Oh,
type
the
of
thermal?
shirts.
Yeah, the thermal. But the long ones though.
Yeah.
And
And
we
I've
gotta
seen-
go back and look at the video. I'm telling you.
I've seen him in
Tall, skinny guy.
there's another one in our apartments that he's tall and skinny. He's very, very fit. That's not him.
No,
You
we're
could-
talking
oh.
about something else that happened earlier today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we seen somebody else
Yeah.
stalking us.
Yeah, there was like a little
I know
gold
that
car.
they have one that's a grayish, bluish, darkish one.
This was like a gold car. It had like a dent in the rear of it, and the guy just kept passing us and giving us some dirty looks, like crazy looks. And he ended up pulling over on the side of the road, and he spoke to some tall guy, kind of thin with a very long shirt on, and he was walking towards us, and then I turned around and said something, or the neighbor started talking to us.
Is it a gold small car?
Yeah.
That's the other black male that I'm telling you that lives there. That
Really? Yeah, he
Yeah.
was looking at us real dirty, like he had a bald head.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, everyone there is like this on everyone because recently we had a really like back to back. They were always stealing cars. So now, when you're there, it's like, who the fuck are you? What are you guys doing here? Like
Yeah.
we're looking at everyone already.
Yeah,
and
watching
it's
everything.
because they broke that day that I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
They messed up one car. Well, it turned out to be that it was dogs that bit up my car, but they broke into my other vehicle. And that's what I'm saying, like broad daylight. So whenever people are around and we don't know them, we're looking around like, who is it? Like, where you guys belong? Because, like I said, we all know each other. And
Right.
who comes in and out of houses, like we know, oh, that's that family's. That's where they're going. Like, you always see the same people because how it's a gated.
Right.
Yeah, it's
How
Right.
it's gated. So I know that my
Those
family
are-
hates going there to my house because it's gated. But my neighbors will let you know, like, the same people that come in and out of my home are the same people that are only there. Because for the
Right.
same reason, everyone hates to go open that gate because it's a swipe card. Yeah, so everyone's like, I don't want to go to your house. I don't know. So I
Yeah,
figure a lot of
I
people
don't-
are like that because other people have told me the same thing, that they hate that,
Yeah.
that card.
It's crazy.